Welcome to Wealthy Women's Conversation Podcast, where we celebrate the incredible journeys of everyday amazing women who are building their own path to wealth and financial security on their own terms. I am your host, Trishelle Williams, and I am so thrilled to have you join us today here on Wealthy Women Conversations Podcast. We are all about breaking the mold and rewriting the rules when it comes to creating wealth. Are you an amazing woman that's 40 years old or older who's looking to build financial freedom? Then this is a podcast for you. Our goal each week is to be a beacon of hope and inspiration, no matter your age or money experience level. On this podcast, you will hear from amazing women who have overcome obstacles, defied societal expectations, and created their own version of wealth, success, strength, and resilience. Now, get ready for a heartwarming, relatable, fun, and empowering conversation that will leave you feeling motivated to take action. Together, we'll shatter limitations, challenge conventional thinking, and redefine what it means to be a wealthy woman in today's world. So, let's tune in to today's conversation. Welcome back, everyone. I am so excited we get to do this again. And then I get to do it with my good girlfriend again. So welcome, everybody. This is our third installment, our third episode of the Wealthy Women Conversations podcast. And I get the awesome opportunity to share this particular stage today with my girlfriend, Anitra Jones. Hey, Anitra.
Hey,
How
everyone. I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
I am awesome. And for those of you, this is your first time and you are peeking in and you have no clue what we got going on. We are a awesome and amazing space where great, awesome and amazing women come together and we talk about how we have walked through creating a wealthy life for ourselves. And it is so awesome to be able to do life with your girlfriends, but also do life with girlfriends who are also growing and developing and building their wealthy space as well. I always say that I've never really had issues with having girlfriends, but I hear people talk about that all the time. And I think the reason why I enjoy girlfriend time so much is because I allow people to be who they are and they allow me to be who I am and we grow together. And so one of the awesome and amazing things about growing wealth is that everyone's process, everyone's journey is different. And I just love being able to do that with folks that I love. And so I get to do that with Anitra. Anitra, you want to introduce yourself?
Hey, everyone. Hey, I am Anitra Jones. I'm so many things. I'm so multifaceted. I was like, which Anitra are you introducing today?
Which is a whole for real.
Today, in this season, I am a spiritual coach. I teach women how to embrace their life of yummy by knowing who they are, accepting who they are, releasing limited doubts and beliefs, and just embracing the things that makes life joyful for them in this season.
Yes, come on, but releasing and embracing. Come on, Steph. So I know you are aware, and for those of you who are not aware, the way this works is I have about 5 questions, and what we do here is we have kitchen table talk. So if you didn't watch or listen to last episode, and I talked about me being so invested in Michelle Obama's example of having kitchen time where you're having conversations around the kitchen. That's exactly what we're doing here is we're having an opportunity to sit down, talk and dialogue about what it takes in order for us to create the wealthy life that we desire to have. And it doesn't necessarily have to look like anybody else's. Everyone has what in them what they need in order to create the wealthy life, and getting the permission, not just from others, but from yourself to live that life the way you want to live it, the way you desire to live it, without regrets, without having to mimic or to model after someone else, but really create that life of wealth and abundance yourself. It's a phenomenal thing. And so, you ready for the first question?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Ready. All right. So I know you've walked with me through so many transitions, and I've walked with you through so many transitions, but I wanted to find out from you at what point or what experience or what moment in your life helped you to understand the importance of getting on a wealthy journey for financial success, or moving into a space where this became important to you, being able to create a wealthy life. Anything sticks out for that?
Yes, quite a few things that stick out because I've had many pivotal moments and they've each built on each other. And I found my definition of wealth growing, expanding outside of what I originally thought wealth meant. And the latest one was last year when I made the choice to close my coaching business down. And it was right when it was growing. Like I was getting clients, I was growing a waiting list, the money was starting to roll in, and I chose to shut it down to focus on my mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the savings and investments to do that. Like I knew I can focus on me for the next year or two, whatever I decided, and be financially okay.
Now that's living a wealthy life, because I don't know a whole lot of people that can say, I got clients finally coming in. The work it took me to get clients, to be noticed, to be accepted, to be put in a place where people will exchange your value, your knowledge and your wisdom for their earned income, and to get that insight and to walk away from it. That is definitely a wealthy space. And how long before you got to that space had you been preparing yourself in a wealthy space? Had you been doing that all your life? Have you always been in a space where you were preparing to, if I needed to say deuces to a job, I can? Or is that something that was new for you?
It was very new for me. I had not been doing it all my life. I actually been doing it for just a few years, literally a few years, because I functioned under the paradigm of you have a good job with good benefits and go on vacation once or twice a year and you're good, and a savings enough to last you in case something happened, like, but not life altering, because the mindset was you're always going to go back to work. Mm-hmm. So to me, in that stage of life, that was wealth, following that. However, however, I quickly learned one illness or death or transition in the family can wipe all of that out. So that had me rethinking that paradigm. It had me shift into looking at investing and growing beyond what I was being taught.
Got it. Where did you start off? Did you start off in investing? And if you started off in investing, did you start off in investing in stock, or did you do something like real estate? Where did you start?
I started investing in stocks.
Okay.
Boy, that was funny because I didn't know what I was doing. But I started investing in stocks, and then I started looking at real estate. Because I remember a message that I heard years ago: something that's never going to be recreated is land. Mm-hmm. So if you own the land, then you can grow your wealth. And so then I started looking at this real estate and just going from there, and just allow myself to be guided to different just a different avenues. There's many ways to grow wealth. And I believe people just, you find the one that works best for you.
Right. Absolutely. I say that all the time. There's so many avenues. There's so many things. You definitely have to check them out to see what works best. What would you say were your biggest challenges or obstacles that you may have faced as you were walking through transitioning from the mindset? I heard you say the paradigm of just being a worker bee. Were there some challenges? Were there obstacles that you had to encounter that you didn't have to encounter, but that you did encounter as you
Mm-hmm.
were walking through transitioning how you were seeing things?
The biggest obstacle was myself. It was my beliefs. It was um, taking the time to realize that everything that I was taught wasn't necessarily true, or that it may be true, but it wasn't true for what I was choosing to do for myself. It was very true when I was comfortable in that paradigm, but as soon as something major hit, it's like, oh, wait a minute. If I go buy this plane ticket to fly across the country to this funeral, that's going to tackle my savings and I won't be able to go on the vacation. Like, this is a trickle effect. And yeah, myself, like being okay with this new information being true for who I am now and releasing what I thought was once true.
And how long do you think it took you just thinking and diving into the space of paradigms? And for those of you who are not familiar with a paradigm is a set amount of beliefs or a set focus or in your belief system that leads you to make choices, sometimes consciously and sometimes unconsciously, that you are doing things because that's what your mama and them did, and that's what your cousin them did, and that's what your
Yeah.
granny them did, right? And so those belief systems that you did not choose to actually have, but you inherited them because of your family structure. Those are all paradigms. So how long would you say it took you to really start to understand you were the obstacle in the way to getting to the dream or the desired life that you wanted? Was that something immediate, or was that a process over a period of time?
Both.
Okay, so
Both. It
what that
was it
mean?
was it was immediate with me understanding that in every situation I'm the common denominator. So I was able to accept that I'm the common denominator. So it's me and my understanding or lack of awareness. Now peeling back the awareness took layers, and it's taking, because I'm still, life is a box of chocolates. uh,
It sure.
there's so many layers. So I'm still on that quest. I have a lot more awareness now than I did. And actually, I didn't begin the quest until I was 40, 41. I'm
Yeah.
47 now. And I didn't begin early in life. So I would say 40 through 45, I was studying and reading and like, oh my God, really? Like allowing the layers to be revealed. And within the last 2 years, I've been more like, okay, this is what it is. This is the season I'm in, and it's okay. That's what I believed in when I was in my 30s. But now I'm here, like giving myself permission to release and embrace me in this season of my life and being okay with releasing limiting beliefs. I didn't know they were limiting because I was flourishing. I was flourishing in the 9 to 5 belief system. Like I was fast tracking in my career from military to federal service. I was doing all the things. And
Mhm.
so I was like, I'm good. I got a government job, child. I got a luxury car. I got a nice big house in the suburbs. I go on vacation. I was flourishing under that. But it took for a couple of things to happen for me to understand that there has to be more and there is more, and to start looking at what is more.
So, as we get back at it, I what was interesting, you said that the paradigm of I got a good job, I got a great car, I got a great house, live in the suburbs. that space, flourishing in that space is definitely a paradigm, an American, that's what they call it, the American dream.
The
Uh,
American dream.
American dream, but that never includes the person.
Hmm.
It's just the dream. They say if you keep dreaming, you don't wake up and actually live. And
Right.
so that part of it is so very important. What do you think triggered you to say there was more?
Oh, okay. So we're going back to another pivotal moment. I was sitting in my cubicle one day and I was looking around and I was like, I'm done. I'm laughing because you know what I'm done means for me means I'm done with
It
this.
is finished.
And I thought to myself, can I do this another 20 years? I had all of the things. I did the checklist that I was given that this is what success looks like. Get married, go to college, whatever. Just, this is what success looks like, this formula. And I followed the formula and I still felt like something was missing. And that led me to just discovering of a journey of discovering who I am, what is success look like for me, what does wealth look like for me, and also, I mean, spirituality. What does it look like to truly live a spirit-led life? Because I have a relationship with God. However, I was not content, and I was taught that if you're not content, then you're not grateful. I knew I was very grateful for all the things, but there was something else in me saying there has to be more to life than this. So that led me on the discovery of releasing limits and beliefs and asking questions. What is more?
That's some good right there. So I know you talked about you started out in the space of for your building your wealth. You started out in the space of doing stocks. Were there any other strategies that you employed, that you used to build wealth on your own terms? Were there anything else that you were doing to say, this is my life, I'm going to do it the way I want to do it? What else did you employ?
I tried some get quick rich things that did not work. Like real talk, I did the whole susus or whatever, those things like
Mhm.
that, and just making investments into companies that I found out the hard way, literally you losing tens of thousands of dollars, like tens and tens and tens, like probably over 80, $90,000 once you add everything in. Um, just trying to figure it out. And then it was like, oh, there are no shortcuts.
There are no
And,
shortcuts.
and
I
being
wanted to
okay
have
with
that
that.
before then. Can we have
Huh?
that there is no shortcuts before the $90,000 was gone?
We did we right. And we've heard that before, right? Like we've heard there are no shortcuts before. However, let me go try the shortcut over here. And and part of that was, this is another limiting belief that tied into my wealth, was releasing the time frame. Releasing, I have to have this done by the time I'm 45, by the time I'm 50 or 55 to be considered successful. And once I was okay with releasing the time frame and diving into what it really means to enjoy your life, enjoying your life is another form of wealth. So many people do not enjoy their life. They look forward to the goal and they miss their life. And
Hmm.
once I realized that I was missing my life, and my life is my wealth, then it made it easier for me to release that limited belief that I have to take these shortcuts and make up for lost time. There is no lost time. Your life is the gift. Your life is wealth.
Well, I got a couple of questions. You said a few different things, and I want you to consider it because I think it's going to help people in the process of them making choices and decisions. So let's go back to there are no shortcuts. So let's do that one first. And did you think at the time you were getting a shortcut, or did you think you were doing what investors do? They invest and they get a return, and sometimes you invest in something and it blows up and you get a great reward, and sometimes you don't. But did you actually walk into the spaces with the thought of this is a shortcut? Is that what you thought?
I did not walk in consciously thinking this is a shortcut. So I learned many lessons. So it wasn't a conscious thought that it's a shortcut. But now that I look at it, and the lesson is all the zeros that was attached to the thing really quickly without me having an awareness of how it happens. I had no awareness of how to do due diligence in the financial industry. So
Okay.
I was doing business with businesses that were not legitimate, but because I had no knowledge, or I didn't have awareness of how to do due diligence
Mm-hmm.
in that industry, I just fell for the okie doke. Like, so no, consciously, I was not. I believe unconsciously, I was like, yeah, go on, do that, girl. Because by the end of the year, you're going to have millions of dollars in your bank,
Right, right. And the reality is, people do at the end of the year, if they've done what they were supposed to and put in the
Absolutely.
right thing, you can invest. And so
Absolutely.
it is possible, which is the very interesting space about being in the wealth space, is that it is possible to put a little in and get a lot out, but you gotta
Absolutely.
know what you're supposed to know.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like it is very possible when you are, when you, and I don't believe per se in luck, but when you do your due diligence, I know, had I taken that same almost $90,000 and placed it into other systems that were legitimate,
Mm-hmm.
that I would have received a great return.
Right.
There were clues dropped along the way. I didn't have the awareness of what questions to ask. And I always use Bitcoin as an example. Before Bitcoin blew up, there were clues dropped literally in my lap by
Yeah.
people in the financial industry
Yeah.
that was like, do this. I didn't have the awareness and even the terminology to ask, like, well, how do you get involved, or what's the next step? How do you invest? Because at the time, I had a good paying government job, my luxury car, and I was able to go on vacation.
Right.
I was not digging deeper, you know.
Yeah.
And then, so had I taken those tens of thousands of dollars and followed the clue, come on now.
Right.
Can you
Absolutely.
imagine
Absolutely.
buying stock of Bitcoin in 2019 or
Yeah.
2017? It was
Yeah.
2017 when those clues were dropped in my lap, and I missed it.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't miss anything. I didn't understand that was a clue. I didn't have the awareness of this clue. I don't believe we miss things. We have lessons.
Yeah.
We have lessons.
Yeah.
So that is what it is.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think that's what happens many times, is that when we don't spend the time, you and me both, because I think Tony and I we had lost almost 100K not long but before y'all had even entered into the space, and clearly we
Right.
didn't know what the hell we were doing, right? And we were like, let's go for it, let's do it. Okay,
Okay.
let's all
Right.
right, this is what it takes, let's do it, right? And really being in a space where you don't know, but also don't know what to ask, and which is why being in right spaces where you're able to just glean the information and pick up the clues, because they will drop in your lap. They will
Mhm.
be present. That will happen. The other thing that the living a life, you said that was good, that I wrote down, that you said living wealth is being able to live the life you desire to live. Being able to get to that space, how did you get there?
It's the little things. Once I realized it was the little things that makes up your life, um, meaning we most people, for the most part, has some type of goal in their life, that they're, whether it's education, our family, financial, whatever. People have goals, and they strive to meet those goals, and they meet that goal and they celebrate, and then what? And then I've noticed that people, including myself, was living in the then what, and literally piddling away time
Mm-hmm.
looking for the next goal to create so they can have another celebration. And it occurred to me, you're wasting your life. Like you're chasing the goal, but your life is the gift. Your life is wealth. So I began looking at what are my day-to-day things that I can do to create the life that I enjoy in this moment that feels yummy to me. And it's the little things like waking up on a nice your sheets feel good to your skin, putting on lotion that smells good all day, a perfume, fixing a cup of soul care tea in
Yes,
the
come
morning
on, T.
when you wake up in the morning, being able to sit on your balcony and journal and just those things, like you're still doing the things to reach your goals, but you're also enjoying your life. And once I realized that I was missing the little things, and actually I was already doing a lot of little things, but I didn't realize that was part of my wealth building. I thought I was just peculiar. But actually I was already creating a space that felt great to me. And then I realized, oh, this is part of the journey. This is part of enjoying life. Like, okay. And then everyone's looks different. And that's okay too. So it's just the little things that
Yeah.
we can take for granted, chasing the big thing.
Yeah. And not giving it enough space to acknowledge it, to see it, to
Mhm.
know how great that part is so very good. All right, your last question on here. We didn't went through these questions, girl. We didn't move through. We didn't move through. What advice or words of wisdom would you give a woman who is just starting their journey to building their wealth and getting into this space that clearly we have been in it for a little while now? But what would be your advice looking back and sharing with someone who is 40, who is now like, oh my God, like we were?
I would encourage her to pause and to think about, outside of a financial number, what makes you feel good, what makes you happy, the little things. Look at the little things. Because usually by the time you're 40, you've already collected years of little things that you enjoy doing. Go ahead and give yourself permission to embrace that as part of your wealth journey, and realize that you may be behind, or what's considered behind, because you're not behind. You may be what's considered behind in the numbers financially, but in the wisdom and life experiences, you're actually ahead. So congratulate yourself for where you are now. Like, pause and be grateful and thankful that you have a wealth of experience to add to your journey of now growing your bank accounts.
Yeah.
And I older people don't give themselves enough credit. Like, there's things that you're going to be able to do in your 40s and 50s and 60s that you didn't have the experience to do when you were in your 20s and 30s. And applying that type of wisdom from all those lessons is amazing.
Yeah.
So you don't be surprised when you surpass
Yeah.
a lot of things financially, if that's your goal, because you are choosing to apply that wisdom. And just realize that you're already ahead. You're
Yeah.
already ahead of the game.
I love that. I really appreciate you taking the time, Anitra. I know for sure, a lot of my wealthy habits have come from watching you engage in building, growing, and developing yourself and giving yourself the permission to be fully who you are and say no and say yes at the spaces that works best for you. And if I were to answer that, just like you said it, I would also say surround yourself with people who understand wealth is not just a number. That would be something that I would also add to,
Absolutely.
that is so important. And if I did not have amazing women like you in my life, I would think it's just a number. But y'all help a sister out. Y'all help me out. Help me out often to understand, well, what about these things have you considered? And I think that is great. And so for all of you women who are listening in and you are just getting started, or even if you may be 50 or 60 and you had not paused long enough to do so, as Anitra would say, go on over to Soul Care Tea and get you some tea and sit down and just pick up a journal and start to consider what it is that makes you happy, what gives you joy, what gives you the space that will allow you to flow in a space where, as we say in our own space, it makes you feel like it's yummy, right?
Yes, absolutely.
The space of yummy is so very important. And so getting that for yourself is going to help you so much more in the money space, because there's also a process to do that. That's a process in itself. But in the process, you can still be enjoying everything that you are walking into, discovering, but being a part of. It can be something that can be really, really great. Any last words, Anitra?
Yes, actually, I would love to encourage the listeners, the due diligence part and building your wealth. If this is new for you, when I was learning how to do stocks and trade and all the things, I connected with reputable people such as Master Coach Trishelle, your community, Wealthy Women community. That community will guide you to the right resources. So you can not only learn how to do stocks and trading, if that's what you choose to do, or real estate, whatever it is. But go to people that have done their due diligence. They understand what due diligence is in the space of financial wealth. That is so important, because there's so many things that sparkle and looks great and all good, but it's not. And I'm telling you, you are not required to lose $90,000 to learn the lesson that I learned.
That part either.
So,
right. That's a
so just connect with people that know what the hell they're talking about.
Okay. That's a whole damn house. That part. Yeah. Yeah, well, I do appreciate it. Thank you so much, Anitra, for joining us today. And I know for sure, for those of you who are joining in, that you have gained something, learned something, been inspired by something. And I say continue to walk it out, continue to ask questions, continue to show up for you, because building a wealthy life is absolutely, money is included, but there's so many more things that are included in it. So until the next one, I am so excited that you all are here. The next one will be dropping next Thursday. But until then, I will see you all on the wealthy side. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Wealthy Women Conversation Podcast. We hope you found inspiration and wisdom as we sat at the table to grow and learn with our amazing guest, who has paved the way for her own financial freedom. Remember, you hold the power to create your own version of wealth, success, and fulfillment. No matter where you are on your journey, it's never too late to take control of your financial future. Keep seeking knowledge, exploring opportunities, and embracing your unique strengths. Together, we're challenging the norms, shattering limitations, and redefining what it means to be a wealthy woman in today's world. Join us for future episodes as we share captivating stories, insightful advice, and practical strategies to support our wealthy journey together. If you enjoyed this podcast, please don't hesitate to return next week, where there will be another amazing, brilliant, and absolutely captivating guest to speak on what it takes to build your own path to wealth and success. Thank you for tuning in to the Wealthy Women Conversations Podcast. Stay focused, determined, and strive for the wealthy life you desire. Until next time, I'll see you on the wealthy side.